Hey, this is a 4 audience simultaneous update. I feel like it's a news podcast or something. Audience number 1 is everybody who is anywhere in the Hunter. So that includes over the last 6, 7, 8 years. And that's Huntly and Greta, and then Lochinvar, Aberglasslyn, Rutherford, coming down through into a couple in Farley, Gilliston Valley Estate, heading down through Curry to Cessnock, and all of the estates that are in all of those areas. Yes, we saw a lot of water. Yes, it's now being described as a 1 in 500 year flood. And yes, it was clear that it had been raining. But the good news for all of you is that none of you have any flood affected situation at all. We picked those blocks well. We always do. We pick it well above the waterline. But I know there's nervousness. Are you sure, Jeff? So I've got some video updates here. So audience number 1 is the last 7, 8 years of everybody, right? Now, many of you have actually gone on to do your second, and some the third, some, as you know, 4 or 5. But let's stay with 1, 2, or 3. And therefore, you may have one in Huntly, or you may have one in Greta, or you may have another one in Gilliston Valley Estate. And some of us have got more than one in some of those places. And Gilliston Valley Estate is obviously very, very strong. And as a consequence, several of you have reinvested in there from the equity release from the first one that you did. Audience number 2, specifically, because that's the one that everybody's a bit worried about, because you heard that there was water near the road, and there was, and you had to drive through some water to get over the road in one instance there. So the older generation folk, by whom I mean the people who bought before COVID or during COVID, I started walking out at Gilliston Valley Estate in July 21. We picked blocks while we were having a rough idea of where they were and where the streets would go, and a big tape measure to find out, and obviously fine-tuned it as we went. So second generation, that's all the COVID people who waited a long time for registration, but their build was very, very quick. And we got out there before the other builders. And you've had tenants in for, you know, in many instances there, a prolonged period of time, which has been really, really good, right? And then the middle generation are the people who bought maybe a year or so ago, and they've experienced registered land, you know, that's moved very, very quickly. The build has been quick. The tenants have moved in. It's all been great. The most recent audience then is anybody who's bought maybe in the last 5 or 6 months, who we're either still building, just about to start building, or working through even maybe the last of the stock is in there now. Site supervisors, myself, etc., have gotten on board again, in some cases with a second or third, because it's a really strong estate. So how did it fare in the weather? In a moment, I'll give you a bit of an update. The good news was that the water was way down in the valley. Look, whenever you visited Gilliston, there was water in the valley, and it's still there. It's just a bit higher, a couple of meters higher, and way down where it was, right? So the blocks were incredibly well presented. None of our tenants have had any issues throughout the Hunter, Huntly, any of those places. We're above, way above the 500-year flood level which has occurred in everything that we've done, because that's part of our criteria. But I was on a lot of those blocks in Gillow on Sunday and on Monday, and I was literally walking out on the blocks, and I was expecting that I wasn't going to be able to walk on the blocks, right? Because there's been a lot of rain. But walking on the blocks, you'll see me jumping on a couple of the blocks. I'll put a couple of them in here. And in actual fact, you'll hear, you know, a fairly solid land, which is great. So it's well drained. It's a great location. We're going to do well from it. And here's a bit of a reassurance series of videos that were shot live up there. Most importantly, the one of the hydraulically engineered solution way down the bottom, which I personally thought would be at least half full or full of water, because that's where all the stormwater from the estate goes. Here's some videos, and give me a call if you've got any questions. So, first of all, there's a bit of standing water on all of the lots that have been cut. And way down there, could you hold that for me for a sec? Sorry. Way down there, where there's always a little bit of water, there is a lot more water. So, is there water down there? Absolutely. Whether that's 18, 19, 21, 22, 23, 24 metres below where I'm standing, I'm not sure. But it's a long way away. And there is no water on the estate. And it's the 26th. Brad, Dom, Candy, hello. Well, there's a lot of water way down there, and Georgia wanted to see for herself. Yay, there's no issue here. And here is your progress. So, hello from Gilliston. It's Monday morning, 26th, 25th, 26th. And it's looking good. And underfoot, it's still dry. Lot 180, about to start, yes. And dry. Well, the whole place is wet, and there's a flood way down there. And you were a bit worried about coming in here, weren't you?
Just a bit.
But it was fine. We didn't even get the tyres wet, did we?
We didn't.
Yeah. Hey, darling, our other one, before anything's happened, it's the 25th of May.
It's the 26th.
26th of May, the wedding was the 25th, yes.
Yes.
Forgotten. Nothing here. Hey.
All good.
So curious by nature, and I can tell you, this is the sort of height difference, right? This is a special hydraulically engineered solution for the whole of the estate that drains down into here for then a slow release out into that creek area if necessary. And just out of curiosity, they're apparently calling this a once in 500 year flood. And I'm not trying to be silly or a smart aleck, but there's no water in here, right? There's no water. There's a little bit of water down there, down in the bottom of the bottom of the bottom of the bottom. I can see that, but there's none here. And I don't know that I'm game enough, maybe I am, to have a wander. Curiosity killed the cat. Down here, I can see some water down the bottom. Yep, but I am now, this is, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 metres below the lowest point up there. And apart from a beautiful butterfly, which you don't see as many of anymore, gorgeous, there's no water. So our properties are safer than safe. And I always knew that, but this is for you guys just to have that level of clarity, all right, and reinforcement. No water in the area that's meant to drain to then drain out there. Everything's beautifully done here at Gilliston Valley Estate.